companies already have various interconnect interfaces like AIB, etc. Do you think all those companies are ready to transfer to UCI, or would they even try to keep their own designs?
I think, for companies that are designing chiplets themselves, and they're going to design all their chiplets and keep them in their own products, they can continue using their own internal standards. But I think for smaller companies that want to be able to work with each other to integrate chiplets from different places, that's where this UCI standard will be important to encourage this kind of multi-vendor connections and make things possible to build these new combinations. So I think that the bigger companies can stick with their own standards, but a lot of the other standards, there's another group called ODSA that was trying to promote a chiplet standard, but a lot of those standards I think are going to go away and be subsumed into this UCI effort, and that will be really the common standard for companies that want to plug their chiplets together.
So, in terms of both technology and business strategy, what are some pros and cons that the unique interconnect design have comparing with a standard like UCI or ODSA?
Yeah, I think that the interconnect itself is pretty common. It's not that there's any special technology there. It's just a question of, if you're going to plug two chiplets together, they have to agree on what language they're speaking, right? And it's not that one language is better than another, but you have to agree. So I think that's where, if everybody can agree on UCI as a way to connect the chiplets together, then that should be able to solve the problem. I think in terms of technical capabilities, there's a different amount of bandwidth that you might need. There's different speeds that you might send your signal, but the UCI group is defining their interface so that it can scale up and scale down to meet different needs from a technical standpoint. So I think as long as you have a scalable interface like that, it can really pretty much serve everybody's needs.
What do you think is still missing on the map to accomplish the ecosystem, and which parts are still waiting to be established or polished?
Yeah, so I think that the big thing that's missing right now is a standard way of connecting the chiplets together. And that's what we really need to have, chiplets from different companies all work together. So very recently, in fact, since I wrote that article, there's been a new group come together called UCI, or Universal Chiplet Interface. And many big chip companies are involved in the UCI group. And I think that the work that they're doing, and they already have some preliminary standards, will go a long way toward creating this interface that everybody will be using in the next few years. So we're starting to see some progress in solving this common interface problem, and but it will take time for companies to design new chiplets to meet the emerging standards. And that's why I think, it's still going to be, 2 or 3 years before you could go out and start, buying chips from different companies and plugging them together using this new, UCI interface. But we're definitely making progress and getting to the point where that's going to happen. As a company, it's a great time to be looking at chiplets, to start designing chiplets, to be able to take advantage of some of these emerging standards and new technologies that are coming out. And if you start that work today, in a couple of years, pull it all together and have a chiplet design that you could start selling to customers.
Do you think different countries will maybe make their own ecosystem building plans?
I hope that we don't see things become geographically restricted. If we have a single standard that companies around the world can use, it will really encourage innovation, allow companies in different locations to exchange chiplets, to plug chiplets together from different companies and different geographies. So I hope that we can at least at that level have a single standard to allow more global cooperation on chiplets.